Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday. I hope everybody is doing well, enjoying the after effects of all the eating and celebration and preparing for the celebration of the end of this year and beginning of a new one. This is the astrological forecast for the first week of 2024, starting from the January 1st, which is on Monday. So we start in a new week with a new month and a new year. It's all happening on Monday for us. And I'm going to just name, as usual, the aspects that will be taking place and then dive more into the theme of what I feel that represents for us. So let's just dive in. I'm going to actually start with today because today is Friday when I'm recording this, and last night we had the exact square between Mars and Neptune. The last quarter square. This is a crisis of consciousness. What are we letting go of in order to liberate ourselves? Mars being still in a sign of Sagittarius for a few days more, and this is all about our belief system, as we know. And this is an aspect that was already active during the full moon in Cancer. So what did we learn? What did we see about ourselves that potentially we didn't see before that is supporting us going forward? Also last night, moon moved into the sign of Leo, where moon will be predominantly this weekend, even though it is moving into the sign of Virgo on Sunday. Then later on today, we also have Venus making a last sextile to Pluto. This is the closing sextile before the conjunction. Venus will conjunct Pluto on February 17th, when the cycle will end and a new cycle will begin in the sign of Aquarius, actually. So this is a sextile between Venus and Pluto, which is taking place on 29 degrees 16 minutes. And right after that, Venus is moving to the sign of Sagittarius today, where she will remain until 23rd of January, and that's when she will move into the sign of Capricorn. Then on Saturday night, Sunday morning, depending where you are in the world, Jupiter will station direct. Jupiter has been retrograde since the beginning of September, and Jupiter is stationing direct on 5 degrees 35 minutes of Taurus. And as I already mentioned, Moon is moving into the sign of Virgo on Sunday. Later on Sunday night. On Monday, the New Year's Day, we have Venus squaring Saturn. This is the last quarter square, again crisis in consciousness. It's happening on 3 degrees 18 minutes, and on the same day, on Monday, the 1st of January 2024, Mercury will station direct on 22 degrees 11 minutes of Sagittarius. On Tuesday, Moon will move into the sign of Libra. Then on Wednesday, there are no major aspects taking place. It's all just minor aspects coming from the moon. On Thursday, we have Mars moving into the sign of Capricorn. So we have quite a few planetary shifts going on within 1 week time. So Mars will remain in the sign of Capricorn until February 13th, 2024, and that's when it will move into the sign of Aquarius. And actually on Valentine's Day, February 14th, Mars will have a conjunction with Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. So on Friday, Moon will move into the sign of Scorpio. Then we have Pallas in opposition with Uranus. On Saturday early morning, we'll have Sun in the sign of Capricorn making a square to Chiron. Chiron is in Aries. Chiron, as of the full moon in Cancer, is now direct. And then on Sunday, we have Moon moving into the sign of Sagittarius. So we're going to end the first week of 2024. We're starting it with the moon in a sign of Virgo, which is mutable sign, all about flexibility, learning and adjusting and changing the pattern. And then we have the week ending with the sign of moon in a sign of Sagittarius, which is about expansion. So let's see where this is going to lead us with 2024. And I just want to mention briefly that then on Monday, the 8th, January the 8th, we'll have the last square between Mercury and Neptune. As we know, we had already 2 of those, and there'll be one more, and that one will be taking place on Monday the 8th. And then, of course, that week we'll have the new moon in Capricorn. So that's what I will be talking about in my next astrological forecast. So as we actually can see, this first week of 2024 is fairly quiet, actually, especially when we compare it to everything that's been going on in this past, especially this past couple of weeks. But the entire December has been very, very busy with all these changes and retrogrades and planet stationing direct. And the last one, Uranus, is actually still retrograde until I believe it's January 27th. So that is the last planet that is still retrograde, because as of Monday, the 1st, we have Mercury station in direct, and Jupiter before the end of this weekend, before the end of this year, right before Jupiter is stationed in direct. So what we have been learning, Jupiter being retrograde in a sign of Taurus, it's all about yourself. It's all about your needs, values, your relationship towards yourself, which I've been speaking about a lot. And it's just very interesting that Jupiter actually did make a positive aspect to this last moon. It was the trine to Sun and the sextile to this full moon in Cancer. So whatever we've been learning since September about ourselves, whatever truth and belief systems we've been reevaluating, is helping us to see our true self, our true essence, who we really are, which, I mean, there is no coincidence that we ended the 2023, the year of the chariot, which represents moon. it's the Cancer. Chariot in tarot represents the sign of Cancer. And Cancer is ruled by moon, and we just had a full moon in Cancer, and so we ended the year of the chariot, which is, we can see how this is associated with the full moon in Cancer. So there is no coincidence. So what have we had the opportunity to see and feel, especially feel, because with the full moon is about illumination, but Cancer is all about feelings. It's about what feelings came up to you, especially in this week that we are just ending, which is ending the year as well, with all this stuff that's been going on around us, all these celebrations. And I'm going to be talking more about this in my practical application of astrology and personal share, so I don't want to go too deep into it here. But I'm sure there has been a lot of experiences that potentially help you to see something or question something with regards to how do you perceive yourself. And Jupiter, that was retrograde literally until, well, it's still retrograde at the time when I'm recording this, until the almost very last day of this year, is teaching us something. It's showing us something. Like, what are we attached to that potentially is not the truth anymore? And also Venus today, Friday, when I'm recording this, making her last sextile to Pluto. She's in the sign of, she's in the sign of Scorpio still at the time when this is happening. And this is the last time, they're going to have a sextile Venus, Pluto from Scorpio to Capricorn, because Pluto is going to move into Aquarius next year. And it's on 29 degrees, which is the culminating degrees. So Venus being in a sign of Scorpio, at the moment, she just moving into the sign of Sagittarius today, but at the moment of this sextile between Venus and Pluto, Venus was ruled by Pluto because she was in the sign of Scorpio, and Venus is the ruler of the South Node in Libra, which is being squared by Pluto. Still, at the moment, this is still in action, even though the square will dissipate next month, especially once Pluto will move into the sign of Aquarius. But this is again the closing sextile. What are we freeing ourselves from before the cycle will end, so the new cycle can begin? So we are creating space for something new to begin. And that is a new year, the year of strength, the year number 8. The strength represents Leo, which is your true authentic self, your self-actualization, your passions and your purpose. What did you came here to do? So with all these culminations that's been happening, especially with this full moon in Cancer, and then we have all these squares to Neptune, and like stationing direct from retrogrades, and all these things that are happening simultaneously in the skies. Pluto actually is still squaring Jupiter, even though it's out of sign square. There are all these things that are becoming much more conscious to our everyday reality, that are helping us to make a decision with regards to the energies that we want to participate in, tap into, and take with us into 2024. So that's what I mean. There is no coincidence that this is happening on the last week of 2023, just as we are entering into 2024, which is, as I mentioned, new week, new month, new year, all happening at once on Monday, the first day of the week, which is a moon day, which is the day of the moon, and moon is in the sign of Virgo when this takes place. The last day of 2023, first day of 2024, moon is in the sign of Virgo, which is the mutable sign, is the learning and adjusting, is the hero's journey. It is the practical application, is the grounding, is the path towards self-mastery through making mistake and picking ourselves up and then going again, and through this situation, this experience, in discovering our resiliency, our ability to take care of ourselves, our survival, if you want to go to the core level of that. So Venus making a sextile, closing sextile to Pluto today, right before she moves into the sign of Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter retrograde at the moment when this is happening. There is no coincidence, because Venus actually and Jupiter at the moment have a mutual reception, because Venus being in Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, Jupiter being in Taurus, ruled by Venus, they have a mutual reception. So they are supporting each other, and they're passing information on to each other. So Venus now going into the sign of Sagittarius as of today. As I mentioned, she'll be there until January 23rd, when she will move into the sign of Capricorn, which is just before the full moon in Leo, actually. Venus is going to help us to expand our horizons, right? Because she just made a last closing sextile to Pluto in Capricorn, for the last time in Capricorn, 29 degrees, closing. It's all this closing of the cycles, closing of everything. And then Venus, the ruler of the South Node, moving into Sagittarius, and she'll be in Sagittarius when Pluto will come out of the orb, so it actually will stop squaring the South Node. That there is a saying in this, saying we're going in a new direction. We came here to expand. And Venus will help us to have a deeper understanding of that, especially being the ruler of, Jupiter. So, as I mentioned, we are starting the new week. So Monday the 1st, with Venus making the last square, the closing square, crisis in consciousness, to Saturn. Saturn is in Pisces. Saturn is our definition of reality, as I mentioned many times. Venus, as the ruler of the South Node, squaring Saturn in Pisces. What do we need to change? What do we need to adjust? And this is a crisis in consciousness. It's not a crisis in action. So it's something that needs to shift in us internally, and it's again Sagittarius, this whole topic of growth through experience, growth of through exploration. And also with the North Node being in Aries, it's about self-discovery. So Venus on Monday making and this is the first aspect of the 2024, Venus squaring Saturn. Saturn is the end. South Node is, like where we came from. So there is an ending and a beginning. So this is straight away telling us that this year, 2024, that we're entering into, it's the true culmination, because Pluto will go back into Capricorn only for 2.5 months. So majority of the year, as I already spoken about in my last video, majority of the year, Pluto is already in a sign of Aquarius, and there is a lot of mutability connected to that. We are changing the course. Literally, for people who are sailing, you are changing the course. You are turning the boat in a different direction. We don't know exactly where it's gonna go, and we know that maybe we'll just have to figure it out, because perhaps, you just have to rely on your own inner compass. Maybe the electricity is gone, maybe the navigation doesn't work, who knows? Or maybe it's not the direction you want to follow anymore because it lost meaning, yes? Because once our belief system change, once we perceive reality differently, everything changes. So I feel with this Venus square to Saturn, and the conjunction is happening on the 21st of March 2024, Venus and Saturn, so that's when the cycle will end. And it's happening right before the eclipses, because the first eclipse is on the 25th of March, the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra, which Venus will be the ruler of. So again, no coincidence that there will be a new cycle beginning between Venus and Saturn in Pisces just before the eclipse. So cycles are ending, new cycles are beginning, and this square creates a pressure to help us switch a perception about something based on potentially even now throughout this holiday season, what through the experience that we've been having and this strong emotion being brought up to us with regards to maybe this doesn't resonate anymore, because maybe this is not who I am anymore, and that all became illuminated with this full moon in Cancer. And as I mentioned, it's all about emotions, a lot of emotional upheaval potentially, but it's all helping us to see something, to teach us something, because it was made a positive aspect by Jupiter. So where are we? Yes, and on Monday, Mercury station in direct. So Mercury has been retrograde since December 13th. We know that happened simultaneously with the new moon in Sagittarius, which again, we were seeding the new story for 2024. And now Mercury is actually stationed in retrograde on the first day of the new year, the 2024, January 1st. So we have this Mercury station in direct in the sign of Sagittarius, because as we know, Mercury started it retrograde in Capricorn on 8 degrees 29 minutes, but then it retrograded back into the sign of Sagittarius on December 23rd, right after Sun-Mercury conjunction, which took place still in the sign of Capricorn. So just as Sun moved into the sign of Capricorn, they had a conjunction. Mercury was reborn because of the Cazimi. Mercury then moved back into Sagittarius, reevaluated some more of our belief system, and now on the 1st of January 2024, Mercury station in direct saying, okay, well, now we learned something. Let's go ahead with this, because now the ruler of Sagittarius, the ruler of Mercury, is direct by this point. So Jupiter is like, okay, we learned something, Mercury learned something, some information has been exchanged with regards to what information we'd accumulated and had the opportunity to question and reevaluate, and now this is impacting the perception of our reality, how we perceive our life, our world, the situations around us. Potentially, like I said, during the holiday period, there might have been a lot of triggers, like, yes, family and old. Nobody brings it out of you faster than your family. They push all your buttons, and potentially you are becoming a different person. Maybe your values are changing, and now us having an opportunity to re-experience the traditional dynamics or encounters with people who knew the old version of ourselves, then we maybe had the opportunity to discover, like, yeah, but maybe this is not who I am anymore. And the more, like I said, when you know something, you cannot unknow, you cannot go back. So once our horizon widens and our perception of reality shifts, then everything changes. And it's interesting to mention that the Mercury station in direct on 22 degrees 11 minutes. These are two master number frequencies, 22 and 11. So that's 4, that's 6, yeah, again, a number of balance. So then we just have Moon moving into the sign of Libra on Tuesday. So that's again about the balancing, about finding what is fair, right? But on Thursday, we'll have Mars moving into the sign of Capricorn. And from the traditional astrology point of view, Mars is actually exalted in Capricorn. There is a saying that they say Mars wakes up every day, gets out of the bed to become a Capricorn. And this is why I always have a little discussion with regards to the Emperor card in a tarot, where to me Emperor represents Mars in Capricorn, not Aries, because it's that maturation, the solidity of I know what I'm doing, which only comes through experience, Capricorn. So I don't feel Aries could be Emperor, because Aries is a very youthful energy, it's the beginning of the cycle. Now Mars in Capricorn, it's someone who is weathered, experienced, is mature. So Mars entering into the sign of Capricorn on January 4th, on Thursday, is going to be in a position of exaltation. Also, it's going to cool down a little bit of that fire, because Mars in the Sagittarius is a lot of fire. It's a lot of like enthusiasm. But now Mars moving into the sign of Capricorn is like, okay, now, this is about discipline, perseverance, like organization, like what we're going to do with this. And this is all happening just before a new moon in Capricorn, which is happening on the 11th, 1 week later. So we have Mars moving into the sign of Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. So there will be a sextile between Mars and Saturn following shortly. And Mars is now helping us to redefine, because we had Mercury going from Capricorn to Sagittarius, and now it's going to go forward, and Mercury and Mars had a conjunction. Let's just remember, like literally yesterday, they had a conjunction. So there is a new cycle beginning, new cycle between Mars and Mercury, even though Mercury now is behind Mars, so it's like a closing phase. But there is a new cycle all the same, and now Mars moving to the sign of Capricorn, which is where Mercury started its retrograde. It's helping us to reevaluate. Like, okay, now that we know something, because Mercury passed on the information through his retrograde in Sagittarius to Mars. Mars is the ruler of the North Node. And ruler of the North Node is showing us which way we go in. And being Mars is already how Pluto acts consciously, is the arrow, so it's pointing us to certain direction. And now it's going into Capricorn, saying, well, we have to take responsibility to redefine what reality you want to experience. And this is the first week of January, right? The new year, right before the new moon in Capricorn, during which time Sun will be the skip step. Sun will be squaring the nodes. So this will be such a powerful new moon, which I will talk about last time, but just to mention, because this is very important to understand. Mars in the sign of Capricorn is literally giving us an orientation that now you made your decision in Sagittarius season, during the new moon in Sagittarius, you made your decision where you want to go with this. Now we're going to start putting it into materialization, like manifestation, because we know this is a year 8. Number 8 numerologically is ruled by Saturn and Jupiter, which is about, it has the opportunity to manifest everything that you want. Jupiter says yes, but Saturn says, did you work for it? Do you know actually what you're doing? You know, like, do you have the experience, right? Because it's Capricorn, it's Saturn. So Mars moving into the sign of Capricorn, this is definitely taking us in that direction. And like I said, it's a prelude to the new moon. Then on Friday, we have moon moving into the sign of Scorpio, but it will remain majority of the weekend, next weekend. But on Saturday we'll have Sun in the sign of Capricorn, making a square to Chiron. This normally would be the last quarter square, and it is with regards to the closing of the cycle, because of course Sun will have a conjunction with Chiron in April. But with regards to planets, because Sun is always the center stage, this is a first quarter square. So it is a little bit confusing, because the cycle is ending between the two, but still, because Sun is center stage, it's putting Chiron in the first quarter square to Sun, and this is a crisis in action. So what actions do we need to change? You know, because Sun is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is in Pisces. It's like, nothing to do with me. You need to take the responsibility. You are the boss. You're creating your own reality. Now, Sun is in a Capricorn, so it's highlighting to us, okay, like, do we feel in charge here? Do we feel competent? Do we feel we mastered this lesson? Also, Capricorn is grounding, so it's about, you know, like, processing the information. Capricorn and Cancer are in opposition with each other, so they come as a package. So how does this make me feel? Does it make me feel safe and secure? Does it make me feel emotionally stable? Does it make me feel in charge or not? And then the square to Chiron in Aries, which is saying that, well, we're going in this new direction. Do you feel ready for it? Because crisis in action. So if you don't, what needs to change? What actions do we need to take? And this is all happening under the umbrella of the first week of the new year. So we can see how planetary, I mean, there is nothing else going on over the weekend. This is literally it. Then we just have on Monday the last square between Mercury and Neptune, the square number 3, because we had the first one on a full moon in Gemini, which was illuminating to us the informations that we've been gathering, especially throughout Saturn retrograde, because the new moon in Gemini happened simultaneously with Saturn station in retrograde on June 17th. So then during the full moon in Gemini on November 27th, we had first square between Mercury and Neptune. This was prior to Mercury going retrograde. So we might have been identifying realities from certain point of view. Mercury was already in Sagittarius, right? But maybe is this still the truth that holds a meaning? It's still holding, or is it the belief system from the past? It's something we are attached to that came from the past. So then Mercury went retrograde, and during this retrograde, it made a second square to Neptune, which actually happened right after the full moon in Cancer. So now that you are perceiving yourself potentially as a different version of yourself, as you becoming someone new, you're moving into the new direction, you're growing, you're becoming more connected to yourself, because the more that these glitches in matrix are becoming obvious, the more that we are pushed inwards to find the sense of security and stability, where everything outside of you is falling apart. The only way you're gonna feel stable and secure and find the peace is within. So this is what I mean. This is even what I mentioned in my last video. I think it was in my practical application of astrology video, where I said that the world is gonna get crazy. Okay, like there is not even like, this is not even to scare people or to like, you know, talk BS or something. The North Node is in Aries, which is straight away a very fast energy, very fiery energy. It's all about, you know, let's just go, you know, leadership qualities, all that, but in a lower vibration, it's just like, you know, let's just do whatever, you know, like without, you know, I have an idea, let's just go for it. It could be quite violent, right? But the fact that Pluto is already going to spend majority of the year in Aquarius, it's going to start accelerating everything massively. And Mars will have a retrograde at the end of the year in Leo. Leo is again a fiery energy. We have a lot of fire going on here. So this year is going to become even faster. So fasten your seatbelt, guys, because things are going to get faster. I mean, all the personal planets are going to make a conjunction to Pluto in Aquarius. We don't count Sun. Sun is luminary. So Mercury, Mars, Venus, they're all going to conjunct Pluto in Aquarius in February, one after the other, which is right before the eclipse seasons kick in. So what does all this mean? That is, the new cycle is already beginning. Like this conjunction that we'll have between Sun and Pluto on 20th of January, right before Sun moves into Aquarius and then Pluto moves into Aquarius, is on 29 degrees and 59 minutes. This is no joke. This is the last time Sun will ever conjunct Pluto in Capricorn in our lifetime. This will never happen again. Very unlikely anybody will be here in 300 years to watch another one to take place, right? So we are moving in a new direction. Like, there is no joke. Like, literally it's beginning now as we speak, because all these personal planets are very, very felt in our life. You know, Mercury, a lot of us recognize when Mercury goes retrograde, unless you're born with Mercury retrograde, and still you would recognize it. It will just impact you more positively. But again, we don't have to go into stories. You know, it impacts you the way you interpret it. It's impacting you, right? But even Venus and Mars, Venus is the rule of the South Node, Mars is the rule of the North Node. They're all going to conjunct Pluto in Aquarius, on early degrees of Aquarius in February, right before the full moon in Virgo, which is, as I mentioned many times, 24/2/24. So that is a very, I mean, we enter in this new year with moon in Virgo. And Mars was in Virgo when it became the ruler of the North Node. I keep reminding everyone, this is very important to understand. Virgo is the hero's journey, which is why right now we are experiencing all this stuff coming to the surface, whether it's in your personal life, whether it's in a collective experience, because it needs healing, because it needs purging, because it's a mirror, it's an expression of something that is unhealed within human collective, which is created by us, right? And through us, and we are part of it. So anyway, without going deep into psychologics and metaphysical and all that, this week, and you know, the fact that we're going to, you know, end the week again with moon in Sagittarius expansion, we making adjustments, moon in Virgo, because learning and adjusting, and path of self-mastery, path towards self-mastery, Capricorn, you know, sun in Capricorn, getting closer to new moon in Capricorn, which will be squaring the nodes. I mean, come on. And we'll have 2 new moons in Capricorn in 2024. I already mentioned this. The very first lunation in 2024 is a new moon in Capricorn. The very last lunation of 2024 is a new moon in Capricorn. What is the difference? That during the new moon in Capricorn, Pluto is still in Capricorn, this first one. The next one, Pluto is in Aquarius. And there in between, obviously on the 20th then, we'll have the conjunction on 29 degrees 59 minutes of Capricorn. So this is crazy stuff, and that's why I feel this week is so quiet. Because I mean, apart from this, what is it? Venus square to Saturn, Sun square to Chiron, that's it. There's nothing else going on. Yes, we have, you know, Venus moved into Sagittarius today, so it's not even next week, it's today. Mercury stationed direct on Monday, is stationing direct on Monday the 1st, and Mars is moving to Capricorn, right? But that's it. Moon is moving every 2.5 days anyway. You know, this is happening all the time. Moon is just going through our inner world, inner landscape, and helping us to reconnect with our emotions through all these different areas of our life. But and then, you know, on the 8th, as I mentioned already, Mercury will make the last square to Neptune, because now Mercury knows something. Because Mercury did retrograde from Capricorn to Sagittarius, had a conjunction before that took place, had a conjunction with Sun after that took place, had a conjunction with Mars, and now it's going forward. You know, it's going forward. It's going to re-enter Capricorn again on 13th, right after the new moon. And, you know, it's making the 3 trines to Jupiter, 3 sextiles to Saturn, and 3 squares to Neptune. And these are all connected, right? Because of the, you know, South Node, Neptune, closing of the cycles, Saturn in Pisces, you know, closing of the cycles. So all these things, guys. So technically, when we just look at the state of the week, there is not that much happening. And why is this? Especially after we had this craziness of all this activity in the sky, you know, in the past few weeks, is because we are seeing the new energy. We are literally recalibrating. We are recalibrating and finding our grounding. And this is not just about your New Year resolution, like, oh yeah, I want to lose weight or go to gym. Like this, you know, if that's what makes you happy and it actually makes you feel better and stronger in yourself, because the number 8 is the card of strength, and it actually does relate to human body. So do you feel strong to withstand whatever the life might throw at you? You know, so this is where it's not about just aesthetics. You know, when people usually decide like, oh yeah, I ate too much over Christmas and I want to go and lose these extra pounds or whatever. That's not what it is about, you know, because you don't have to be skinny to be strong, and vice versa. But you also can be slim and be strong. Like, look at ballerinas. They are probably the strongest people on the planet. And they're tiny, right? So, I mean, this is all about perception again. But with the year number 8, and we were also being taught in my tarot class that they also come in couples, just like the astrological sign. So the strength card, which is the number 8, comes together with the star card, which is the 17, which is actually perfect because in the zodiacal wheel, that's exactly what it is. Leo is in opposition with Aquarius. So having these two coming as a pair, the strength together will always have the essence of the star, which is the hope, which is this hope for the better future. So what is this first week telling us with all this very minimal activity in the sky, which is all just like this behind the scene? Okay, Mercury here is stationed in direct, Mars is changing the sign, Venus already changed sign, Moon just sneakily in the background, like, okay, well, I change the signs all the time, guys, you know, like, did you notice, right? And then amongst all of that, we have the square from Sun to Chiron. This, what it should be last quarter square, but it's actually first quarter square because Sun has to be special, right? Because it's Sun, it's unique, it's special. And this is all telling us that this is preparing us for this new year that is beginning on Monday the 1st, that is going to bring a massive shift in everyone's life. And this is gonna be a very, very transformative year. I know that everybody's been saying it for years now. Yeah, 2020 is a transformative year. 2021, 2022, they're all transformative years. They all have something important to teach us. But 2024, like, no kidding with Pluto in Aquarius for 9 months, right? And North Node in Aries. And at the end of the year, Pluto will make a trine to South Node. So what everything do you think we need to go through in 2024 when we enter in the year with Pluto square in the nodes, and we'll end the year with Pluto trining the South Node and sextile in the North Node? That will be a massive shift for that to take place, like, really. And, you know, obviously entering the year with Venus being the, you know, ruler. I mean, we exit the year with Venus being the ruler of the South Node as well, but Venus is in the sign of Sagittarius, which is telling us again about the expansion. We are ending the year with Moon in Virgo. Adjustments, flexibility, hero's journey. We are going to have to make adjustments. We are ending the first week, you know, like, we will end the first week of this new year, January 7th, January 8th, will be with Moon in Sagittarius. Again, Sagittarius. Mercury just had a retrograde in Sagittarius. It's making 3 squares to Neptune from the sign of Sagittarius to Pisces. What is all this telling us? I mean, breadcrumbs, guys, breadcrumbs. What is all this telling us? Well, it's telling us that we are entering a completely new cycle of human evolution that is leading to expansion. So that's why whatever is going on in your life, and in many cases, I know it's not comfortable and it could be very hard. It's very challenging for a lot of people. I know a lot of people struggle right now. Like right now, I have my struggles more internally than externally, but I know it's real. And I know for a lot of people, it could be on both external, internal, all of it, just struggling from every single direction. And that is because there is a lot of transmutation and healing and purging happening at the same time. And nobody knows where we're going to be 1 year from now, right? But one thing is guaranteed, and that is that this year is going to bring a huge change to everyone's life, because we are entering this path of expansion, ready or not, because this is what the evolution requires, that there are new horizons to be explored, and we need to go ahead, because the North Node is in Aries, new beginning, and Mars is moving into Capricorn this week, and it's saying, I was born to become a CEO of my life. Mars in Capricorn, it's pushing you to become the CEO of your life, the creator of your life. And again, the strength, the number 8, the card strength, represents your purpose, because it's Leo. And you have the seed within you to go after whatever is calling you, and also to make whatever adjustments are needed in order for that to take place. But the main thing is about, you will never find it unless you're authentic. And that's why I feel that all these difficulties and challenges people are experiencing at the moment are especially coming from that. That are we being authentic? Are we living the life that we truly want and desire and we are in alignment with? Or is it just, just getting on with it? Getting on with it and just surviving, right? Surviving. But the card strength is actually saying about, you came here to complete a purpose. You have a purpose to live, to be this, authentic version of yourself that came here to creatively self-actualize and create something that is unique to you. That is not to copy someone else. Hello, Aquarius in the opposite side, like looking at Leo saying, no, I'm unique. I didn't come here to copy no one, because Aquarius comes after Capricorn. So Capricorn is a structure. The definition is this, like, I am taking charge of my life, like I am the Capricorn. I am the creator of my reality. And that's where the true freedom comes, right? We will never feel free if we externalize our power and look up to everyone else and say, like, hey, tell me how to live my life, or feeling disempowered because that someone, whoever that is, whether it's your husband or a government, says that, no, you can't do that. Sorry, I don't agree. And it's like, excuse me? I'm a grown up. I can make a decision about my life. I don't need you to agree or tell me or whatever. Like, yeah, you are welcome to comment or to, share your opinion or give a guidance or support, but it's up to you as a Capricorn to decide, like the Emperor. That's why I say, to me, Emperor is a Mars in Capricorn, because the Emperor is not gonna just go and take everybody's opinion and say, like, oh yeah, you think this, okay, let's do that. Then you see something different, somebody else is saying something, okay, what should we do then? No. It says, like, okay, yes, I listen to all these people telling me, all these, advisors, right? But then you have to decide. And then take the responsibility, because, the Emperor, the king, cannot say, like, oh, it's his fault. Because when you get to that position, to that role that you play in your life, there's no one else to blame. You are the Capricorn, you are the king, you are the Emperor. You cannot go and say, like, oh no, the Joker said that. It's not my fault. They're gonna go like, excuse me? You are the Emperor. It's your responsibility. But that is you, that is me, that is each and every single one of us in our life. Because Mars is the rule of the North Node. And the North Node is in Aries. So it's saying, yeah, it's time to put on the leadership hat and say that, yes, actually, this is the year 8, the year of the strength, the year of the purpose, that we have to do that we have to start doing that. And it will require a lot of adjustments, which is why Moon is in a sign of Virgo. We learn, we fail. That gives us some tools, some knowledge, some feedback. We try again. We do something different. It works or it doesn't. And this is how it goes. It's called hero's journey. It's your life. But don't get stuck at the first point where you fail and then you feel bad about yourself and all this self-judgment and criticism. and go like, oh yeah, why bother? Why bother? I can't do it. I am not a Capricorn. Well, Mars, as the ruler of the North Node being in a Capricorn, says otherwise. There is no coincidence. No coincidence. We are starting the year with Mars entering Capricorn as the ruler of the North Node. And the new moon in Capricorn is gonna square the nodes. There is no coincidence. What is this trying to tell us? That at the end of the year, ready or not, you have to be the Capricorn, because Pluto will be in Aquarius. So that's what I mean. I am not gonna make any video for prediction for 2024, because the story is not written, guys. Nothing is set in a stone. Saturn is in Pisces. Everything is everything. Pisces is no boundaries. Everything is everything. It could be whatever you want. You decide. You are the Capricorn. You decide. So, but like I said, there are some people I follow and I highly recommend, and I already put it in the description last week, the video that I watched with regards to the energy for 2024. Not saying like, oh yeah, this is gonna happen, but the energy, which again I will put in a description, so you can find it there if you would like to follow or watch it for yourself and make your own discerned decision with regards to what you hear. But yeah, the story is not written. Nothing is set in a stone. You decide. Like, there are certain dynamics that we will be experiencing collectively, but whether that will be your personal experience, that's up to you. And then again, yes, there are experiences that we might not enjoy, but we have to go through because our soul chose that for our expansion, because we need to have some unpleasant experiences to grow and learn. So that is something that is not, fully in our conscious ego control. But there are a lot of things that you can change the direction. Even us as a humanity, we continuously change in the direction where we go in. So this first week of January 2024, when there is not that much happening, these crazy aspects or something, it's everybody setting themselves in a new positions, because there is a brand new energy that is being seeding through. And 1-1 is a portal. 1-1 is a portal. So, what energy are being seeded through? Well, is Venus squaring Saturn? That's one of them. And Mercury stationed in direct, saying, high five, I completed my retrograde. What did I learn in the past 2.5 weeks, since December 13th, since the new moon in Sagittarius, throughout the full moon in Cancer, and 3 squares to Neptune? What did we learn? What did we learn that we now can apply as we go along, as we go ahead? But nothing is written. Nothing is written. Nothing is set in a stone. But we know what we are moving away from. We don't know where we're heading towards necessarily, but we know what we don't want. Hopefully by this stage, majority of people are consciously aware of what they don't want. And I feel this full moon in Cancer might have give you a lot of clues. Like each of us, because it brought up a lot of emotions. It illuminated a lot of stuff. There were a lot of positive aspects that were taking place. So this is all supporting us on our journey. So there is not really much more to say 42 minutes later with regards to the astrology. Just, I can briefly mention, of course, like I said, that we have this last quarter square between Venus and Saturn, and we, of course, had the same with Sun and Mars previously, Mercury, and then the conjunction between Venus and Saturn is on March 21st. I already said that will be just before the eclipse season. And Venus and Neptune, conjunction between Venus and Neptune, Venus will make a square to Neptune next month, in January, before Venus moves into the sign of, where is she now? So before she moves into the sign of Capricorn, which will be on the 23rd. So a few days before, she will make a square to Neptune. So the conjunction will be in April. And interestingly enough, right after, on the 4th, the Sun will make a conjunction to the North Node. So yeah, between January and April, because we can see there are so many things happening in February, we have all these Pluto personal planets conjunctions. Then, we'll have the eclipse season, March and beginning of the April, end of March, beginning of the April. And we have all these conjunctions with Saturn, Saturn, Venus, Saturn, Mercury, Saturn, Venus, Saturn, Mars, Saturn. Mars, Saturn is on April 10th, so right after the eclipses. And Neptune, personal planets, and Neptune, Mercury, Neptune, Venus, Neptune, Mars, Neptune, closing of the cycles. There is a brand new universe being built up for you, whether it's your microcosm or macrocosm. But this year we start in the process of building up of this brand new universe, because the old one is starting to be will start to become just the vision in the distance, because you're moving away from it, so you can still see it. You turn around, you can still see it is behind you, but the further we go, the less you'll see it. And then we'll be just heading forward toward this, empty space that will eventually be filled with manifestations. And that is what the 2024 represents to me, that this is the opportunity for that, because it's the year of 8, the year of manifestation, abundance, magnify everything it touches because of the Jupiter qualities, and it's the strength. You need to be strong. You need to be strong and trust yourself. Trust yourself. That's why the square was to the South Node in Libra, not trust someone else. You need to become a Capricorn. Mars is moving into Capricorn. You need to become your own Capricorn. In order to go in this new direction, the main person you need to trust is you, no one else. You don't trust your husband. I'm not saying don't trust your husband. I'm saying you need to trust yourself about everyone else, because nobody knows you better than you know yourself, and only you know what you like. That's the seed is within you, the seed of the Leo. What you came here to do, what is your purpose? No one else has it. Only you have it. So this is what this year 8 is about, for us to step into that and have the strength to face it, have the strength to go after it, even though it means stepping into unknown, which is the Sun square to Chiron in Aries. As of now, direct. So what did we learn during Chiron retrograde, which started when Pluto made the first exact square to the nodes? And it was 3 of them, even though we had the entire year of Pluto square in the nodes, but there were 3 exact ones, all in July. And on the first one, under the influence of the first one, Chiron stationed retrograde. So what did we learn with regards to this wounding which is being mirrored to us through the human collective and your personal experience too, which is telling us we cannot go on like this anymore in the same direction. This zero game, this win-lose, because there is always somebody who loses in this current experience of human existence. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting year. I in no way think it's going to be an easy year, even though I don't want to cast spells, it could be whatever it is for you, whatever you manifest, whatever timeline you tapping into, but just the fact that it's a number of strength, and that's ruled by Leo, you will need to stand up for yourself, because the Leo, as the animal, doesn't go to some other animal and say like, hey, can you validate me? Am I the king or what? No, this is no Leo king, the little Leon that goes to someone else and, hey, am I a king or what? No, you need to become that for yourself. You need to learn to self-validate, which is why I keep going on about why self-care is so important. Because how else you gonna get to know yourself if you don't take care of, you and your emotion? And it's not selfish. And yes, it can come to the point of narcissism if it goes into extreme, but taking care of yourself is not selfish, because that's what is teaching you about who you are and what you need and what you came here to do. And that is giving you the strength to stand up for yourself and follow that purpose. And yeah, wherever that's going to take you, wherever it's going to take any of us, we'll find out by the end of 2024 when we have the second new moon in Capricorn, right? So anyway, guys, 48 minutes in, I'm going to close up. So I wish everybody a beautiful 2024, strong head forward, strong leg forward, and just trust yourself, whatever that means for you. And yeah, may it all bring us the illumination of the purpose that you came here to follow. The reason why you came, whatever that is for you, because this is the year where you can step into it, 2024, the year number 8. 8 I think from what I remember in Asian cultures, number 8 is very auspicious. Like everybody wants to, that's what I was being told when I traveled and I was in Asia. They say everybody wants to get married on the 8 or live on the number 8 or street, 8 or whatever, 8, 8, the number of infinity, because it's the never ending cycle of life, right? So, yeah. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope that some of this was helpful. Just, one step forward with the Virgo new moon, Virgo moon on the first day of the year is going to be a lot of learning. The path towards self-mastery. Okay, have a wonderful day, wonderful year, and I'll speak to you again next week. Bye for now.